I think the power behind having an MBA for me is having a critical voice in the kinds of rooms and spaces where I want to make an impact. Getting an MBA has allowed me to ask questions, to speak the dialogue, to speak the language, and know the analysis that you can do to actually build the fact base and to build a convincing argument in that. When I was looking at MBA programs, NYU was the only place that had an urbanization project actually housed in its business school. I'm a huge biker. I would put a bike lane on just about every street. I would think about ways to introduce scooters in a more meaningful way rather than the kind of scattershot way that they've been introduced in other cities, and really push on how can we have more sustainable, diversified systems of transportation in addition to thinking about funding of some of those bigger infrastructure systems. The friends I made at Stern are the ones who I turn to if I'm thinking about a career change, if I'm thinking about something tough that's happening at work, or if I'm just thinking about how I connect the dream I have of the future with the reality today and how to get there. It just felt like people were not just the straight line business people, that they were really interested and curious in, food and how food relates to culture and how business can connect to food and culture, that they are interested in exploring how the arts could be bettered through different business models. They're going to investment banking, they were really interested in going then into impact investing. It just felt like I met people who felt so multi-dimensional to me, and that's always been a way that I've defined myself, and it just felt like a community of people that I would love learning from. I traveled internationally with Stern to solve what I found to be incredibly interesting problems. So I went to Mexico City and worked with Mexico City over the course of a semester to look at how you increase affordable housing in Mexico City. I worked with the World Wildlife Fund and an emirate in the UAE called Fujairah to look at how the UAE could develop their first national park. Went down to Guatemala and worked on a social enterprise venture. So I actually received a Forte Fellowship through NYU. Forte Fellows is it's a national kind of women in MBA program, and they're specifically focused on supporting women who are considering business school and largely have non-traditional backgrounds. Despite the fact that I had a completely different background, felt very non-traditional, felt kind of like a creative, that I could, bring ideas, bring thinking, be, just as good as anyone else in the room. And I think that for me was an incredible boost of confidence that I could go out and solve the types of problems that I wanted to solve.